Hi guys, PLO Warrior here. So I'm just gonna make a video. I didn't realise it'd been so long since I made a video, so I thought I'd come back with a video. I'm just gonna review some hands using pokerjuice. I don't know if you guys have ever used pokerjuice before. I'm pretty new to it, so I want to review some hands. I stopped playing 6 max because I don't know, I was getting just fed up and shit. So I started playing Heads Up Omaha, which I have pretty limited experience playing Heads Up PLO. So I just started playing Heads Up PLO about 2 months ago, just a bit less than that. This is how it's been going so far. It's been going pretty well. I started crushing it in the beginning, and then obviously inevitably hit sort of just a break-even stretch roughly. Back on the up again now, but during that period there I was just getting annoyed. So you know, I bought pokerjuice and tried to figure out how to use it, and you know, watch some coaching videos and run it once and stuff like that, and it really helped my game. But I just want to go over some of the hands with you basically, and if you've never used pokerjuice, I strongly recommend getting it. It does cost it a monthly, or you can do it yearly, but it is a bit pricey, but I would say it's worth it for anyone that's playing like 50 PLO or more, or if you just really want to try and improve your game and you just want to, you know, invest the money. If you're playing lower stakes, that's fine. So let's just have a look at some of the hands here. So most of these hands are at 20 PLO or 50 PLO. Oh, okay. So let's start off with our first hand here. We've got 9933 no suited. So the guy opens on the button and we 3-bet. This guy is regular, I think. He was quite new. I think I was playing, you know, for like a month and then he joined. So I don't know if he's just new to the site, or I would say he's not too new to PLO, but he seems quite reggish. But anyway, so we 3-bet here, as I'd like to have, you know, just not always aces and double suited kings and like 9-10 jack queen in my 3-betting range. So it is nice to have some double pairs when the flop comes, like, you know, 3-4-8 and we flop a set. So we 3-bet and flop is 5-6-7, right? It's a bad board for my range, really, as a 3-better, but you know, we do 3-bet our whole range, like, you know, all the way down to 3, 4, 5, 6 double suited, any double pairs. We are 3-betting such a wide variety of hands, just like, you know, the best of them. So anyway, we c-bet with the blockers here, which I think is kind of mandatory. Okay, and he calls. So he is quite loose-ish reg so far, I'd say. I don't have that many notes on him, but I would say he's loose-ish, but not like out of line or anything. So on this board, when we c-bet, I haven't given him the range. So I put the range that he continues here on the flop as basically 5-6 plus, which is, you know, 5-6 or better. So 3, 4, 4, 8, 8, 9, 5, 6, all the 2 pairs, all the sets, as you can see down there in the syntax. And then I've got a 7, a 5, 6 or 7 with a 4, 8 or 9. So that's a pair with an open ender basically. he could continue also with like some overpairs, I'd say. Maybe he has like jacks through kings. Obviously, I don't think he has aces. But if he has jacks through kings with like a pair or better, or a gut shot or better, I guess he would call as well. But we'll just keep it like this for the moment. As I say, it's not going to be 100% accurate. But, you know, we're just getting used to it. So, right, he flat calls. On the turn, we need to get his range in here. So we bet again on the turn. I think it's a good bet because we have obviously the 9 blockers and the 3-4 blockers. So it's kind of like, if we had like 10-10 deuce-deuce here, I think I would give up. But in terms of our blockers, you know, we've blocked the 8-9 and the 3-4 so hard that it's going to be so hard for him to call on the river without a straight, just because he can't expect us to be 3-betting with aces or just a high rundown and then just 3-barreling this board, like, because it's just so easy for him to have a straight. Like, he shouldn't expect us to be 3-barreling here. So when we bet a turn, his range is going to be less than, going to be a bit narrower than before. So I've got him calling with basically 5-6, but with an 8, or a 4. 5-6 with an 8. How do I put 8 or 4? I think I put 5-6, but with an 8 or 4, and then I'll do that. There you go. It takes a bit of time to use the syntax here, but as you can see, I put 5-6 there, and then the colon means with, and then brackets with either an 8, comma, or a 4, close brackets. And then so 6-7 with an 8. I've got to do it again, I guess. There is an easier way to do this, I think. 6-7 with an 8 or a 4, comma. 6-7 with an 8 or 4. I've got to put a comma in here. 5-6 with an 8 or 4. 6-7 with an 8 or 4. Why doesn't that like that? Don't know what I've done here. Oh, right, I do. I've got a comma in the end of there. There you go. Okay, 6-7 with. Oh, I already had that shit in there. I can delete that because that's already in there. King 7-8, 4-8. So yeah, I've got him continuing here with the 4-8. I think if he has 8-9 right here, he just jams. So on the flop here, we can put 8-9. This is excluding, basically. Oh no, not the flop, sorry, we're on the turn here, so this is a turn. So we can put 8-9 here, and then on the turn we want to put his A range in here. So this is continuing range. But he doesn't have 8-9 here because, well, we block it so hard anyway, but I'd imagine he's going to jam 8-9 here, okay? Right, and so he calls here, so that's what we've got his range for. Basically, any 2 pairs plus a gutter we've got here, which I think is a reasonable range to be calling here. Now, bang, the river is like the nut best card for our hand in terms of bluffing. So now we definitely block the 9 straight. So now like any 5-9, 6-9, 7-9, 8-9, 9-10 is a straight. But also the 4 is the lower straight here with any of those cards, 4-5, 4-6, 4-7, 4-8 basically, and 3-4. So we go ahead and jam, and here we have him only calling with straights, and I think he has to only call with straights here. Like, how can he expect us to 3-barrel like pocket aces here, or like, you know, 10 jack queen king? It just doesn't make. We would never jam this river just because it's so too easy for him to have straights. Like, there's so many combinations. And like I said, if we had 10-10-5-5, sorry, 10-10 deuce-deuce, there's no way that I'm barreling the turn or the river here, just because we don't block any of the straights basically. So on the river I've got A, his A range is, oh yeah, I didn't actually need to put this in here because we're going through the range distribution. So the range distribution on the river, we've got straight plus, and then all his other hands is his folding hands basically. So if we run this, we should see 78% of the time he should have a straight, and 21.8% of the time he has everything else, which is, I found really shocking that he has a straight that often. 3, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, 7, 4, 8, 4, 9, 4. Yeah, I found it really shocking that that's how often he has a straight here, even though we have the blockers. And then I guess it's because we don't block the 4s, we actually have the 3-4. So if you're 78% of the time there, so it's clearly not actually a barrel here, he's calling me like nearly 80% of the time. But let's just see if we change the 9933 to 9944 and see how often that changes. And let me go back. Which goes down to 63%. It's still not ideal. So yeah, I was just a bit amazed that, I mean, he could even have 8 9s there, to be honest, just because there's no flush draw. Yeah, so it's not actually a bluff anyway on the river. But anyway, it turns out he called me with top 2 pair, and he doesn't block any straights either. So I think it's a bad call by him. It makes sense. Our range assumption was right for him to be calling flop with like a pair and a gut shot, or pair and an open ender. Yeah, two pairs and a gut shot, or 1 pair and an open ender. So we had his range in the flop for, yeah, so the range was correct. And the turn, he has 2 pair and an open ender, but I think it's a clear river fold for him, but it's actually not a bluff for us that we should be making apparently, especially not now that we know that he calls your top 2. So obviously, once I know this about my opponent in future, if I have like 4 or 5 on this board, I'm jamming the river, just because so many 2 pairs he has. Well, actually I kind of shouldn't, just because we've discovered that he has a straights too often. But if the 8 didn't come on the river and I have 3-4, like, I'm definitely jamming the river value with like the bottom straight. You know, I can go a lot wider for value against him. Okay, so that wasn't a profitable bluff on the river. Now let's have a look at the next hand. Right. Range distribution. Okay, we're in the on the bottom. Open it up, get 3-bet. Don't fold too many 3-bets, but I do fold to some 3-bets. It's kind of important. Depends what you know about your opponent. I don't know about this guy. I think he is a loose player. I could try and find the notes. No, I'm pretty sure he's a fishy player. Right, so 3-bets, C-bets flop, and yeah, as he's quite loose, I've got his range as betting the flop as 9s through kings. Well, I don't have aces in there. Oh, because I thought I 3-bet pre-flop. Oh, I did, no, he 3-bet pre-flop. Right, so he can still have aces. Right, so you've got basically all his overpairs c-betting the flop. We've got all straight draws, basically, c-betting the flop, and any 2-pair plus and any pair of 8s plus. Okay, just have a look at how often he has separate hands here. So we've got bottom 2 here, and SPR is 7 at this point. So we'll just have a look at what kind of hands he's going to show up here with when he's c-betting the flop. It's mainly going to be a pair of 8s or straight draws, gut shots, wraps. That's section B, so 65% of the time he's going to have them kind of hands. 32% of the time he's going to have overpairs, and I think actually I need to put the rest of his range in here. There we go, let me just do this again. Oh no, do I need to put the rest of his range in there? Don't think I do, maybe not. Okay. Yeah, so it's obvious that we have a call at this point anyway. That's not really the interesting point in the hand. So yeah, only like 1.6% of the time he's going to have us beat here pretty much. So we flat call. Ace of clubs on the turn, which is a bit more interesting. So now he bets the turn again. Pots the turn. He didn't pot the flop, but now he pots the turn. So it's an interesting bet size. So now we've got his range as bottom 2 plus again, which includes the 3-5 straight. Any ace, pretty much, because I think, yeah, he's betting any ace here. Now his double barreling frequencies I think were quite high. So we're going to put him having some blockers in here. So we've put the 3 and the 5 for the blockers for the straight. 6, 7 plus, which is going to be 5, 6, 6, 7, 6, 5. Yeah, so the gut shots. You could also be betting a flush draw. We'll put flush draw in there as well. So we've got, most of the time he's going to now have bottom 2 or better, but it's close between that and the blockers. It's probably not betting like every single time he has a blocker, but I'd imagine he's betting quite a lot of the time because his double barreling frequency was quite high. So we still have to call the turn, obviously. And now the river is a 3, right? So not really the best river card, but it's kind of better than a, well, it's better than a 3 of clubs, that's for sure. I would have preferred a 10 or a 9, but he did 3-bet pre-flop, so I don't know how many 5s he's going to have in his range, basically. I'll try and find out his, I've got 70% as his pre-flop range, so that means that he's 3-betting 70% of his hands. I'll try and find out there. Dano beat. He's got 18% of hands, so I don't know why I've got 70% there. So pre-flop, got 18% of hands, right? That does change things a bit. Because obviously if you've got like the top 18% of hands, you're going to have way less 5s in your range. Way less like 4 deuce, 5 deuce, 3, 5, you know, just the wheels cards. So we've got him continuing. Oh, he needs to continue here with the E range as well. Hashtag E. I don't think I need to put a hashtag, do I? Oh, I did before. Why don't I need to put it now? Sorry, I'm still quite rusty with this thing. Let's put E. No, I can't. Why don't you like E? E's fine, man. Give E a chance. Well, you know what? I'm putting clubs in here then, if that's the case. Oh wait, was that the flop? Okay, makes sense. We've got to pay attention. Oh, that was the turn. A, B. Right, okay, so here we go again. Okay, so yeah. So we're going into the turn card then. Right, so yeah. So we still have to call on the turn, as you're gonna be doing very well against his whole other range. Basically all this together, A, B and C. B, C and D, which is any ace, any blockers which are 3-5, any open ender or double gut shot or better, any flush draw. If you add all that up, you know what I mean? It's like 80% of the time, no sorry, 60% of the time roughly, he's going to have all of those combined. But you can do this and you can show, yeah, so 58% of the time he's going to have these three ranges, which we do well against, and then obviously 40% of the time we're pretty crushed against that range, but we have to continue, I believe. And yeah, anyway, the river's the 3, and we've gone to bluff catching module here, and I've only got him on the river value betting a straight or better, which is ace 5 or better, and I've just put the blockers that he's basically just gonna bet the river when he has the 3 or 5. Well, actually, yeah, okay, 3 or 5, and probably way more bluffs than that. Like probably he busted clubs, I'd say as well, would probably be bluffing. But we'll just keep it as 3 and 5 at the moment now. So he jams the river, and we're getting like, we only need 27% equity to call, so we don't need to be right that often. And we can see here he has air like 80% of the time, and that's without us including the clubs as well. I don't know, the clubs didn't work there. Why do the clubs not work? I know they're not blockers, but maybe I'll put blockers, put clubs in the check thing. Yeah, so that's basically, that's the flush as well, basically. Busted clubs is the 26%. I don't know why it doesn't work in the blockers. So I put club. It didn't seem to change the number there. But anyway, you can see we have a clear call here, just because he is. You can see his river continuation bet. Oh, it's only one sample. Okay, that probably would be that sample, but it's was 100%. But yeah, so we have a call here anyway. If he's bluffing with the 3s, the 5s, and he's only value betting the straights. You really shouldn't be having too many. I think that's our equity against his range. Go back to game builder, range distribution. I know that wouldn't work, would it? Yeah. Actually, I think that is our equity against his round. I don't know if I've done that right. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the next hand because I'm babbling a bit. We've got A, B, C, and D on the turn that he continues with, which is 2 pair plus, any ace, blockers, double gut shot, and clubs. Yeah, that's our equity against his range, I'm sure. So we have to call the river. He ended up having just actually no blockers at all. He had like 1 club, but he had no 5 or 3 for a turn bluff. So yeah, now that we see his hand, it's even more of a call on the river when he's not using, like, you know, premium blockers sort of thing. So let's move on to the next hand. Let's keep things moving here. This hand we've got queens, king 9. So this guy, Kathia. Just gonna have a look at him. See what the stats are on him or anything. %48 free bets, quite large. Just gonna have a look at my notes here. High free bet but check fold on queen 7 deuce. 100% check fold and free bet pots. Bet half pot for medium strength value on river. 2 out of 2 samples. Pot turn as a bluff after free betting. So interesting that bets half pot with medium strength hands on the river, but pots as a bluff. 4 bet call 4499. So it looks pretty weak player. Looks tighter than some people pre-flop, but 4 betting 48% of hands, like over 70 samples, is ridiculous. So let's go ahead and have a look here. So raise, free bet. So we're not giving him 15%, that's completely wrong. We're giving him 50% pretty much, as he had 48%, or we can just put 48%. I've got 48% of hands. Okay, so well, I mean, we could just 4-bet here. Probably would have been the better play, but as played, keeping the variance down, we just call and flop 8, 5, 3, 2 clubs. So he bets half pot here, and we've got him. I mean, what was his C-bet percentage? Go back to him here. 76%, and then 64% on the turn, 67% on the river. So it's on the higher side. It's not too crazy, but there are going to be a lot of bluffs in there. So we can't do anything but flat call. I've got him c-betting jacks through aces, flush draws, open enders and better. So basically all the wraps. 6, 7, 9 is not on there though. So I just put 6, 7, 9 and 2 pair or better. So 5, 3, 5, 8. All the sets. And the other pair that I've missed out. Okay, probably see betting even more than that, but I don't know how I could sort of say a random hand that's. I think that's a fair assumption. He's probably see betting more than this, but like all of this has some equity. I expect somebody with 76% free bet c betting range to like obviously be betting when they have no equity as well. A lot of the time. So anyway, flat call and check the turn. On the turn is the 3. I think he's going to be barreling this card all the time, as he has like 64% turn barreling. This is like a scare card for me, like perceived that he's free bet obviously, and you know he's going to have a lot of aces and kings. I don't really know if people would barrel this size, and we did have in our notes that, you know, he potted the turn as a bluff as well. I think it was on a similar kind of board actually. Let me just go back to that note there. It's actually the hand that it is. It's actually the hand that it is. Okay, so I won't go through that. Anyway, what turn is he betting here? I've got aces and kings, even though I don't think he actually has that too much, but I'll leave them in there anyway, because like he could have aces and kings. Any 3 or better. Now we've got like the ace of clubs and the king of clubs. I've just put that as a bluff. I don't know if that's right, like as a blocker, but there's no actual flush possible yet, so I don't know if that's, but obviously he's going to be double barreling so much. I just don't know how to distinguish a certain percentage of time, so I'm just going to leave the ace of club and the king of clubs in there, and then we've got the open-enders or better, so all the 6, 7, deuce 4, 4, 6, 6, 7, 9, etc., and then any flush draw basically. Okay, let's just see how his range is distributed on the turn here. It's going to be mainly kings or better on the turn, but we do beat like 60% of his range at the moment. So we flat call here, and river's the 4. He jams after we check. So river now, we've just got him for, let's go to bluff catching. Value bets, we've only got him value betting a 3 or better. After I check, I don't think he's jamming aces and kings here. I don't know. Well, it does have, the thing is, I know he's got 3 barrel frequency is quite high, but even so, I think people with aces are like scared to go for value here, especially if I have 6, 7, because the river's the 4, so 2, 6 gets there, which is very unlikely. Ace deuce gets there, it's very unlikely unless it's ace deuce of clubs. But 6, 7 is likely. 6, 7, 9 with clubs is a likely hand. 4, 6, 7 with clubs. So I don't think he would jam aces or kings here. So I've just put 3+. So all the trips, all the sets, all the straights basically. And then the bluffs I've put in just the ace of clubs, the king of clubs. I've put in when he has a 7, when he has a 6, and when he has a pair with a flush draw basically. I don't think he's, so I've taken out all his flush draws to bluff with. I just put a bluff with the naked ace of clubs and the king of clubs, right? So, and I put the 5, because on the flop the 5 with clubs was the only pair on the flop, so he could have had like a pair of 5s with a flush draw, so I put that in there as well. And we'll run the numbers. So it looks like almost 50-50 here, whether he turns up with it turns out with slightly more air, so it's obviously a call, and it's not, you know, anywhere near a pot size bet. We only need to be right 28% of the time. So against his range, we're having enough equity. So here's a clear call, and we call, and he does have the pair and a flush draw on the flop, so a pair of 5s with the clubs. On to the next hand. Which one are we on here? Right, aces. So guy opens, we free bet, flat call. We pot the flop. I don't really love the decision, but this guy is like super crazy, so it's possible to get it in ahead. but we just pot the flop and he raises. No, this is actually really interesting. It's we only just actually have enough equity here, which I thought was kind of amusing. But we've got his getting in range as diamonds because he's absolute crazy, right? So I've got basically a flush draw, 2 pair plus, 2 4 plus. No, that's not right. He's not getting it with 2 4. 2 3 or 6 with 6 5. Done something wrong here. Deuce 4 plus. I think I meant to put Deuce 4 plus with diamonds, but I think that's already included. Anyway, Deuce 4 plus with diamonds. Queens with either a 2, 3 or 6. So an overpair with a pair on the flop, and then kings with Deuce 3 6. I did have just any gut shot, pair and a gut shot. I'll leave that in there then. If I thought it was that crazy, then maybe it's that crazy. Okay, so we need 36.5% equity to stack off once we get to the flop, and you can see against his range of hands that we think he's getting in with any flush draw, any 2 pair or better, any pair and a gut shot, any overpair with a pair. Sorry, any queens or kings with a pair. We only have 37%. We're only 36.5, so it's only just a get-in. And I just snap got it in because we have the 6 as well, so we can. An 8 is a good card for us, basically. So let's just change the 8 here, and this is literally the difference. For changing the 8 to the queen. That shouldn't be right. It doesn't change. Oh, I've changed the wrong card. I was supposed to change the 6. My apologies. So take that back. Change the 6 to the queen. And now you can see it's actually a fold, basically. So without that top pair there, this hand would have been a fold on the flop. Okay, and just see what you had just for lols. You had an overpair, bottom pair, and then that flush draw. So that's probably a fold against this hand. Oh, it's actually getting against the hand. But yeah, it's quite clearly a getting against that actual hand. But yeah, anyway, on to the next hand. I think we're onto here now. Right, and let's just run it back here. Okay, so I'm going to this guy again that we were in the first hand. He opens, we 3-bet. Flop, gut shot, so we c-bet. He calls, we put his calling range as any jack, any queens plus, any open ender plus, any 2 pair. Oh, I haven't actually put in. Why have I put 4 5 in a. Why have I typed out like that? Could have just put 4 5 plus. Because we've actually missed out a lot of his hands here. We've actually missed out all his sets. Okay, turn card, boom. We're betting again, and I don't like it, but I was absolutely steaming, I think, in this session. So we do have a blocker at least, but it's not super relevant. Excusez-moi. Okay, so we bet the turn, and we've got his turn calling range as any 3 to a jack with a deuce or a 6. So that's basically any pair with an open ender. Actually, jack wouldn't be. Okay. Then we've got 6, 8 plus with clubs. So that's basically the gut shots. Doesn't have 7, 9 of clubs in there. It's a bit specific. I'll not put. Why is that not counted that? Then we've got any pair with a flush draw, pretty much. And then we've got 3s plus. Yeah, because I don't think he's just going to be calling me with like 4-5 now or 3-4. Okay, so that's the turn range. Boom, the river. Oh, we've missed his clubs here. Oh, right, yeah. No, right. So for his clubs, he can't just, the thing is, he can't just call a turn bet here with a naked flush draw. Like if he has like ace, queen, 9, 10 with the ace high flush draw, there's no way he can call here. And I think he is good enough to know that he can't just call with an, obviously, an ace high flush draw, like he's not getting the odds here. So cool. So that's why I've put, if he's got a flush draw, it has to be like with a pair or better. The river card is the 6. Now the question in the hand is, do we go for value on the river or not? So we've put his river calling range. This isn't right. Yeah, we've put his river calling range as all the straights, because it's a backdoor, flush. And after we were steaming this session, he's calling us down super light. I expect him to call me on the river of any straights. Maybe not the deuce 3, but possibly, because I'm just going to be barreling this river like all the time. Because if he has a straight, like, you know, I'm trying to get him off it. And if he has like a weak 4, 5, 7, well, that's a straight, I guess. But jack 5, 6, trying to get him off it, basically. So I would barrel this. So yeah, we put his calling range as straights. These are cumulative anyway, so I don't need to put straights or better, but without clubs, because I'm putting clubs in here. So I can see the difference. I think that's how you do it. So, boom, boom, boom. We can see on the river he's going to have a straight like 40% of the time. And so I guess this is the rest of his range, right? Yeah. So we can see he's going to have a straight on the river 40% of the time. He's going to have a flush 22% of the time, and he's going to have a random hand 37% of the time. So the C is him folding, the A is him calling him me winning, and the B is him calling and me losing. So we shove the river. Actually, I don't know if it is even a shove. I don't know how to tell. Because obviously, 40% of the time, 40% of the time we win. Yeah, of course it's a shove. Yeah, of course it's because he's calling both times. Sorry, I thought he was folding. Got confused there. Yeah, it's obviously a shove because his turn range is narrowed by the flush draws that aren't like just naked ace high flush draws. Like he has to have something with the flush draws, and we do block one club. It's a jam on the river, and he ends up having the queen high flush with a pair of queens. So, like I say, if he has Queen 10 King Deuce, like he's folding the turn, so that's like less of a flush. That's one less flush in his range by the river, so it's narrowed a little bit, I'd say. Okay, I think we're on the last hand. Let me just check actually. Yeah. Okay, so we're at 50 PLO here. This guy's crazy, absolutely crazy, and actually no, he's not crazy. Sorry, I was crazy. I was on tilt this session. It sounded like I was on tilt a lot of the sessions. Just go back to here. I think you can see it was right around here. I think this hands, and I went on major tilt, and I just was spewing so hard. Like I was just triple barrel bluffing all the time, just pop, 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 without thinking about ranges or anything like that. And you know, like I said, that's why I got Poker Juice and watching some coaching videos, because I was crushing it in the beginning, crushing it, and then I just started playing like a fucking idiot, as what happens when you start to go for a downswing sometimes. But yeah, this guy was like actually pretty solid. See if I can get some hands on him. This guy was pretty solid. John Matrix, right? Looks like we're beating him in the end. What was I going to do? Oh, look at his things. Oh, I've been getting lucky against him apparently. Right, so yeah, free betting 20%. It's pretty standardish. My notes on him. Let's just see. 50 PLO, heads up tightish. Had it every time so far. 3 times, definitely. Never check raise or donked flop. Played ABC and we couldn't beat him. Of course, he always had it when showing. And major aggression or 3 barrels, so unbalanced. Cool. So basically, we were just being a fucking idiot. But so he's on the tighter side, okay. So he raised, we free bet, super standard. Flop 5-6 deuce with 2 spades. We bet 2/3 pot, and he just pots it. So given our notes on him now, we know that he is only getting it in with very strong hands. Okay. So what are very strong hands on this board? Right, we've got a set with a flush draw. So deuces with spades, 6s with spades, 5s with spades. We've got 7, 8, 9 with spades, or I put clubs, I meant spades. We've got 7, 8, 9 with spades. We've got ace, 4, 7 with spades. We've got 3, 4. Oh, this is wrong. We've got 3, 4 or 5, 6. Hmm. 3, 4, 5, 6 with the ace of spades. No, that doesn't work. How does this work? We've got 3, 4. Five, 6. No, because that's saying 5, 6 with the ace of spades. I'm just going to have to do it like this. Ace, spade, spades. So 5, 6 with the ace of spades. 3, 4 with the ace of spades. Yeah. Like 3, 4 with the ace of spades. 5, 6 with the ace of spades. Okay. And that's it. That's the only hands I think he's getting in with. I don't think he doesn't have aces with spades, obviously, because he would just be 4-betting me pre-flop. He doesn't have kings with the ace of spades. He doesn't have kings with spades because I don't think he'd be raising this flop. So I think that's a fairly accurate assumption. Let's just see what his range looks like here. So it's mainly going to be the have I got 3-4 in here? Must have 3. Yeah, 3-4. Oh no, 3-4 doesn't need the ace of spades. 3-4's the nuts. Well, I've got 5-6 with the ace of spades. Yeah, 3-4. So I've put him even having, if he's got 3-4, it's with the ace of spades. I think that's correct. Or no, not necessarily. 3-4 with just spades, definitely. Doesn't have to be, because 3-4 is the nuts. I didn't realise at the time. Okay. Yeah. So it's mainly going to be the rats and flush draws here that he's going to have. So what we actually want to do here is not get it in because he pots it, obviously. So we'd like to see a turn card. So what we can do here is we can look at the stack off next street equity. So stack off equity next street. So we need 34% on the next street. So our hand has got quite good visibility. Like, I'd imagine we would fold on a spade, and obviously we get it in on a 5 or 6 or a 3. I'd imagine we get it in on most diamonds, or we get it in on an 8 as well. So there's so many turn cards that we can obviously get it in with. So we don't need to just get it in now. So 34.5% equity is what we need. So we can go to the equity graph for the next street, and we can run it here, and we can see the next on the next card what will happen. So on, actually that's not right. I think I have to call first and then run it. I think that's how you do it. So you can see here that on 30 out of 45 turn cards, which is 66% of the time, we're going to have enough equity to stack off, and we're going to be folding a third of the time. So the cards that we stack off on are any ace apart from the ace of spades. That's interesting. I thought we stacked off on the ace of spades. Let me just run that again, like this. Oh no, doesn't make a difference. Okay, so yeah, we stack off on any ace. Basically, we're not stacking off on any spade apart from the 5 of spades, which gives us a full house. So his range is like super flush draw heavy here. Yeah, we're pretty much stacking off on any card but a spade. Why is there no other 4 there? Oh, we've got the 4 in our hand. Yeah, good idea. Where there is an extra deuce missing there. Anyway, so yeah, it looks like we're going to be calling and stacking off on every card but a spade, pretty much. So boom, the turn is the 10 of clubs, and we needed 35.5% equity basically. So if we just go back to here and we just look at the 10 of clubs. So the turn was a 10 of clubs. It gives us 47% equity, and we needed 35% against his range. So we just donk jam on the turn to stop him checking back with the flush draws. So I think we played this hand pretty well, and he actually shows up with the nuts, 3-4 with spades. So even against that, we weren't in too bad a shape. It's I mean, obviously, by the turn, I mean, 23% is not ideal, but against the nuts with a flush draw, it's kind of crazy. It's a shame that he had the flush draw, because we actually ended up making the straight on the river. But yeah, I just think that's how we could. I thought it was a close spot, and I wasn't sure how to play it, whether to get it in on the flop or not. But as played, I did play it how I should have, by just calling the turn and I might have folded like a 9, maybe incorrectly. But I know that obviously spade is way worse. We don't block any spade at all, so I probably would have just got it in on a 9. But if it's 9 of diamonds, I'm certainly in. But yeah, just an unfortunate hand. And that concludes the video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I would recommend getting Poker Juice and having a play around with it, as I'm not 100% you know, perfect at it yet, but I've only had it for like a week, so I'm still getting used to all its functions. But it is way worth it, and it does help you plug some leaks in your game once you get used to it. So thanks for watching, guys.